מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. מלאכים לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. מלאכים לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. מלאכים לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Beautiful Shalom Aleichem melody to welcome the Shabbat. We begin Kabbalat Shabbat on page 24. L'chu neranena l'Adonai, na'ariya l'tzor yishenu. Come, let us sing unto the Lord.
L'chu neranena, l'chu neranena, l'chu neranena l'Adonai. L'chu neranena, l'chu neranena, l'chu neranena l'Adonai. Na'ariya l'tzor yishenu, nekadma panav v'todah. Na'ariya l'tzor yishenu, mizmerot na'riyado. L'chu neranena,
L'chu neranena,
l'chu neranena l'Adonai. L'chu neranena,
L'chu neranena, l'chu
neranena l'Adonai.
Let the heavens rejoice, the earth be glad, the sea and all within it roar praise. 4 lines at the bottom, page 26. Yismechu hashamayim.
ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים,
השמיים,
ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. הידם הים, הידם הים,
hayam,
הידם הים,
hayam,
הידם הים,
hulo,
הידם הים,
hayam, Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, praise the Lord with the harp and the voice of song. Page 30, translated right at the bottom.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וקול זמרה. זמרו לאדוני
בכינור,
בכינור
וקול זמרה. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy mountain. Page 32, bottom of the page, 2 lines on the bottom, Romamu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
Give glory to the Lord on high, whose power we proclaim. Sanctify the glory of God's name. We rise, page 36, Mizmor LeDavid.
כל
May be seated as we turn to the central hymn of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi, keep and remember in one divine word, our people at Sinai, God's command heard. Come, my friend, the bride to meet, Shabbat, let us greet, page 40.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, Bnei Shabbat, Lecha Bela.
שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך אדוני לקראת כלה.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, Bnei Shabbat, Lecha Bela.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, כי מקור הברכה. לחרוש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה מחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, Bnei Shabbat, Lecha Bela.
Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha, Kumitzei mitoch hafecha, Kumitzei mitoch hafecha. Rav lach shevet b'yemek habacha, v'hu yachamol alaychem lecha Dodi lekrat kala. Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Bnei Shabbat lecha Bela.
התנערי ועפר קומי, לבשי בידי דברך מי.
לבשי בידי דברך מי.
על יד ואישה בית הלך וכל באי נפשי עליו.
Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Lecha Dodi lekrat kala, Bnei Shabbat lecha Bela.
לך לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, ובני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, ובני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, ובני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, ובני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, גדול אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לך לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Lo tevoshi v'lo tikalmi, ma tishtochachi u'ma tehemi, bach yechesu aniyei ami, v'nivnei העיר אל תיללה לה לך לך
דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה.
נקבלה.
לקראת דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה.
היו לי משיסה
יולים שיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מעלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהי, כמסוס חתן על גלה לה 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 לך לך דודי,
לקראת קלה
פני פני שבת נקבלה.
נקבלה.
לקראת דודי לקראת קלה פני פני שבת נקבלה
ימין ושמאל
ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה פני פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני פני שבת נקבלה
בואי לשלום, עטרת בנה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה. בואי חלם, בואי לך לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני פני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת דודי לקראת קלה פני פני שבת נקבלה. So, if the ladies will join Evelyn in lighting the candles, Hadlakat Neirot. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Psalm dedicated to the Sabbath day, Mizmor Shili Yom HaShabbat, page 44, Tov Lahodot Ladonai.
מזמור שיר ליום
השבת,
השבת,
טוב
להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדיך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי עליון בכינור מזמור שיר
לשמך עליון
לזמר לשמך עליון כי שימחתני עלי בפועלך במעשה ידיך נדדו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך מזמור שיר
יום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני לזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון ישר אדוני צורי 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 ולא עלתה בו צורי צורי צורי
אדוני מלאך רות לבש, לבש, אדוני עוזית הזר, אף תיכון תבל, בל תימות, אף תיכון תבל, בל תימות, נכון כי שכה מאז, מעולם אתה, נעשהו נערות אדוני, נעשהו נערות כל העם, יישאו נערות אוקיין, בקולות מים רבים, אדירים בשמי ים, אדיר במרום אדוני, אדיר במרום עדותיך נאמנו מאוד, לביתך נבע קודש, אדוני לאורך ימים, אדוני לאורך ימים, בקולות מים רבים, אדירים בשפלי ים, אדיר במרום אדוני, אדיר במרום
The call to worship, the beginning of the evening service, we gather with the words of the Baruch Hu. We rise and turn to page 52.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד. Yay, nay, 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 nay. Yay, nay, 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 nay.
Yay, nay, 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 nay.
Yay, nay, nay, nay,
For they are our life and the length of our days. On them, the words of the Torah, we will meditate day and night. Ahavat Olam, page 60, transliterated below.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, שוכננו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד.
כי הם חיינו, ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, בהם נגן יומם ולילה.
יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו
אוהב עמו ישראל.
First paragraph of the Shema on page 72. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha. Second and third paragraphs found on pages 80 through 82. Thus will you be reminded to fulfill all my commandments, be consecrated to your God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God. Adonai, Elohechem, Emet, the song of the sea, the redemption of the people of Israel from slavery, from Egyptian bondage to freedom in the land of Israel. Mi chamocha, middle of page 86.
Mi chamocha,
Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
Amen.
May we always feel protected because you are our merciful sovereign. Guard us always and everywhere. Bless us with life and peace. Page 90, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom. Eloheinu L'Shalom, Ve'amidenu Malakeinu L'Chaim.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותגרנו בצד טובה מלפניך
Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, Ve'amidenu Malakeinu L'Chaim.
Ashkivenu
Adonai, Eloheinu L'Shalom, Ve'amidenu Malakeinu L'Chaim.
Saleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros Sukat Shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Apores Sukat Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim
Ve'al
Ufros Aleinu
Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Apores Sukat Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. The people of Israel shall observe the Shabbat, maintaining it throughout the generations as an everlasting covenant. We rise for the declaration of Shabbat from the book of Exodus, page 96, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני
ובין בני ישראל
ויתקטל ויתקדש שמרבה, ואלמד דיברה חילותי, וימליך מלכותי. וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלם ובזמן קריב וימלוא אמן. יהי שמרה
מבורך
לעולם לעולמי עמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמך קודשם לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ועמדו אמן. יררי לי די לררי די אדוני יררי לי די לי שפתי תפתח
La 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 Adonai Ya la 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 Sifatai Tifkach Ya la 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 Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. The silent Amidah for Shabbat is found on pages 110 through 118.
שלום,
יעשה שלום. שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם.
ותאר ליבנו לעובדך, 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 לעובדך
באמת.
ותאר ליבנו לעובדך, 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 לעובדך באמת. ותאר ליבנו לעובדך, 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 לעובדך באמת. ותאר ליבנו לעובדך.
ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן.
קדיש שלם.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה.
אמן.
ינדי ברכירתי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו.
אמן. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי המאיה.
יתברך.
מתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל לשמי קודשה.
ברכו.
ללמד כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחה דם ונחמתה דם מרם רבה וימרו.
אמן.
תתקבל צנותון ובאתון לכל ישראל קבלו משמיה וימרו.
אמן.
יש אמר משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום בברכה הוא יעשה שלום
עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל אמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל
As we enjoy the many blessings which you have so bountifully granted, may we too bring goodness into the lives of others. As we recall your blessings, too many to be counted, too constant to be merited, may we be moved to thank you always as we do now for the fruit of the vine which you have created and for the Shabbat which you have sanctified. We rise for the Kiddush.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אור הפרי הערפל.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידש העולם אשר קידשנו מחד קודשו ואהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תהינם למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו
ובחרת
ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת
be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. Let's try it one more time. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We can always do a little bit better.
That works.
Yeah, that works. So as the story goes, a big rabbi a long time ago, a very spiritual rabbi, used to go to a forest, and there he would light a special fire and sing a special blessing, and God will listen. And the story goes, the years passed by, and nowadays we might not know where the forest is. We don't know how to light that special fire, and we don't even remember the words of that special prayer. But we know the story, and we know the melody, the nigun, the wordless song, with all of our heart. And we know that God will listen. So please join us with this beautiful nigun, Into the West, by Nava Tehillah. Lyrics, Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai Lai, from your heart. Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Beautiful as always. The music is just amazing. Really a great way to welcome Shabbat. We all know that the best known prayer in Jewish traditions is a Shema, and we encountered it just the other week in the Torah reading. And the Shema has several paragraphs, and in fact, the third paragraph of the Shema is in this week's Torah reading. And most people, when you ask them, where's the Shema? They'll say, well, it's in the Siddur, it's in the prayer book. And V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, it's in the prayer book. But it all originates from the Torah. So in this week's Torah reading, they go with the heart and with all your soul. And then it goes on to quote again from the first paragraph of the Shema, which we read a few weeks ago. You shall teach them to your children, to speak with them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. So it's the same words over again. Rabbis ask the question, why? Why this repetition? So one of the rabbis, Rabbi Braverman, comes up with an excellent idea. He says, because there's two ways to teach. And that's why it has to say, you shall teach your children twice. The first way is to repeat the words of the Torah. You repeat the words of the Torah when you're on your way, when you lie down, when you wake up. In other words, at any moment, that's a teaching moment. Teacher to student, parent to child. But that's not the only way, and it's not the most effective way, says Rabbi Braverman. He says they repeat it because they want to teach the idea that you teach your children, you teach the next generation, you teach your student less by what you say and more by what you do. There's the saying, and then there is the doing. And the rabbis in the Pirkei Avot, they put it this way, Lo ha-midrash ikar. Midrash is the interpretive words. They say the midrash, the interpretive words, are not the essence. They're not essential. Ela ha'maseh. What is essential is the deed, the action. Those the words are important, but they're not essential. They're not the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is what you do. Because what you do will impact upon the children. What you do will impact colleagues more than what you say. So that's Rabbi Braverman's idea. You have to do more than even what you say. And when I think back to the greatest teacher, who's our greatest teacher in the Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moses, our teacher. And he had a lot to say. We're reading the whole book of Devarim, and he hasn't stopped talking now for weeks, and it goes on and on and on. However, when we first meet Moses, and I thought about this, I'm trying to think, what did Moses say that caused God to select him as the one who would confront Pharaoh? What did he say? And I looked. Really said almost nothing. Why did God select him? Because when he saw an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Hebrew slave, he jumped up, he intervened, he saved the Hebrew slave, he hit the taskmaster. Resulted in his death. That was a problem Moses had to deal with. He was going to have to run away. The next day, when he saw two Hebrews fighting with each other, he intervened again. And then, when he ends up in Midian, having fled Egypt, because it was known that he'd killed an Egyptian taskmaster, and he sees these women being harassed at the well, he jumps up, he protects them, he pushes away the harassers. In all those events, he says nothing. Basically nothing. He does it. He just does. And as a result, as God is looking, he decides, this is the man I need to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt. This is the man I need to confront Pharaoh. And when you think about it, he didn't say a lot to Pharaoh either. He just told them, let my people go. But he had the courage. Can you imagine that? Someone confronting Pharaoh and making a demand? That didn't happen. As the Israelites watched that, they had to be astonished. As the Egyptians watched it, they had to be astonished. So our first teacher, who later on goes on to say a lot of words, is the chosen because of his deeds and his actions. And think about it, the Torah tells us to give tzedakah, I don't know how many times, dozens and dozens of times. But how did most of us learn how to give tzedakah? Certainly in the previous generation, it was the blue box. You saw the grandma or the grandpa or the mother or the father take some coins and put it in the blue box before Shabbat and pass it around, and everybody did the same thing. We saw it. Not that they told us to do it, but we saw them doing it. And that's how we learned. The classic one, of course, is what are the three ways to teach? By example, by example, by example. It's the same idea as we find here in the Torah reading. You teach by doing. I remember one of the things that one of our children always mentioned to us as something that he remembers as a very powerful moment was when we were in North Carolina, which is where I just got back from. We've been going there every summer for many, many years. And we bought some stuff, and they gave us, the lady gave us the wrong change. She gave us too much money. Now, I know, not that I've ever done it, but I know that if your register is not good at the end and it's short, it comes out of your pocket, right? And it was $10 short. She would be $10 short. That was a lot. That was maybe half her pay for the day. So we were actually using cash in those days. So you know how long ago it was, right? I realized that as I was putting money in my pocket, as I had begun to walk away, and I said, oh, she made a terrible mistake. Rafi, give her this $10, go back and tell her she made a mistake. So he goes, he takes the $10, he was a very little kid then, gives it to her. She looks at it, and of course she can see that he's wearing a yarmulke, and she says, "Praise be the Lord of the Jews," because we had done something nice, right? So what had he done? What had we had done? We had taught an enormously important principle of Torah, and we didn't say a word. We did it. And the impression upon her and the impression upon Rafi, who realized what we had done in terms of honesty in business and compassion for a woman who would have suffered financial loss if that had happened, or even worse, who knows, could have been fired as well, is a lesson he grasps. I never taught it to him. We just did it. So this is the lesson that we learn, that parenting, teaching is what we do, much more important than what we say. And if we look today at the crises that are facing major religious establishments, major groups, the crisis that are faced by so many political leaders in the free world and the not free world, and one of the major sources of that disappointment and the major source of that crisis and the breakdown in leadership is that there is such a gap between what they say and what they do. And when you see that, you lose all confidence in the lessons that they're trying to teach, because we're watching them as much, if not more, than we are hearing them. And that dissonance between what you say and what you do destroys the lesson. So, what Rabbi Raven says is we have to have these words, and you shall teach them to your children twice, to remind us it isn't the lecture, it isn't the words as much as it is the deeds. The actions is what they will remember much more than the words we say. That's the wisdom of education as taught to us by the Torah. And what's the word Torah mean? I know a lot of people think it means law. Torah does not mean law. Torah is from the word hora'ah, moreh, horeh. Teacher is a moreh. Torah is learning and teaching, and a horeh is a parent. All of us have the job of teaching the next generations and each other, and we can only do it by the deeds we perform far more than by the words that we utter. Shabbat Shalom. We rise to the Aleinu prayer on page 167. 166.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עוונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על Shemo Echad.
In solemn testimony to that unbroken faith, which links the generations of the house of Israel one to another, those who are in mourning, those who have yurtzeit, please remain standing for the Mourner's Kaddish. I learned this today upon my return from North Carolina that Louis Dykes had passed away at a very ripe old age and with his family nearby. And not a lot of people knew him. He had just come to our congregation not too many years ago, frequently, mainly the Shabbat morning service. And he liked, when we used to do live morning services, he liked to come once or twice a week and join us for the minyan. This was just a sweetheart of a gentleman, such a mensch, the definition of the mensch, and we extend our condolences to his family, many generations of them, and his memory will endure for a blessing for many generations to come. Yehi Zichro Baruch. Mourner's Kaddish, page 184. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divra chidutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yamechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'yamain.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach li'olam l'mei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Kudsha Brichu Li'ela min kol berchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram b'yama v'imramein Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu V'al kol Yisrael v'imramein
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mamav Hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael Vimru, amen. May His great peace in the heavens grant peace to us who remain here on this earth. We all say amen. So we have announcements. We got a duo. Okay, the fabulous duo. Jill and Michael, our president and executive vice president.
No.
Are all these working? No. Okay. Well, then we'll put them back there.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Beth Torah. I wanted to thank everybody because we do have a new procedure, new policy in place that everybody has to wear masks if they're going to be coming to our congregation for services. And I wanted to thank you. We have 100% participation. We haven't had to tell anybody to do it. So we appreciate it. We want to do that to make everybody here feel safe. We want to be able to open up our doors, have in-person services because we know that's what everybody wants. But at the same time, we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable here and safe. That's the most important thing for us. So we do appreciate everybody's cooperation with our new policy.
It's a new old policy, Michael. We're bringing back from the past. First off, I'd like to say Shabbat Shalom, and I'd like to thank Rabbi Farber, Cantor, and Evelyn for a wonderful service as always, and your beautiful words. I'd also like to say thank you to Gus and Ariel, and to Eric. Thank you to Benny, Ishmael, and Mario. Mario. And I want to say thank you, a special thank you to Marla. Without Marla's help and dedication on a weekly basis, things would kind of fall through the cracks, thank you. The tracks, I'm thinking about the railroads. But I just want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we love you. Thank you very much. Just a couple of reminders. On Monday, August 2nd, we have Passport to Shabbat. We have the mandala dot art. It's coming back for a second time. We sold out the first time, so don't miss your spot. On August 4th, which is a Wednesday, we have our mitzvah moment, which is a collaboration with Camp Simcha in support of the Miami Rescue Mission. On Thursday, August 5th, we have Passport to Shabbat. It's the Big Fat Greek Wedding screening. On Monday, August 9th, we have the Sisterhood Book Club, The Silent Patient. On Tuesday, August 10th, we have Passport to Shabbat cooking demonstration. Don't miss out, I hear it's going to be really good. On Friday, August 13th, we have the Passport to Shabbat Culture Connection. This month's program is being led by our famous cantor. Also on Friday, we have our Passport to Shabbat Greek Shabbat dinners collaboration with executive caterers. We just got a ton of stuff going on. Now, two things that I have to remind you of before I hand the mic over to our famous Michael Kotzen. Number one, please do not forget to renew your membership. It's really important. And number two, high holidays are coming, so we can't wait to see you, whether you are with us in our temple or you're with us with Zoom. You will always be with us no matter where you're located. Michael.
Thank you. So who was here last Shabbat? Right, so about 15-20% of you are we know you were here. You're working our video cameras and our sound. So last Shabbat, I had a nice conversation with Alex, our string section of the band, who's not here today. And I think it's important for everybody to get to meet our band members and learn a little bit more about them. I must have scared Alex enough that he hasn't. I spoke to Alex 2 out of 3 weeks, so maybe I scared him too much that he doesn't want to come back. But I think it's important that everybody get to meet some of the band members who are playing such beautiful music for us every week. So this week we're going to talk to Benny. Benny doesn't know that, but we're going to talk to Benny for a little bit. So Benny plays piano.
Is this an interrogation?
It is. I'm a lawyer. It's a deposition.
Lawyer. I'm going to plead the fifth.
I'm sorry, you're going to play the fifth. So how long have you played piano or keyboards?
I started piano when I was 8.
Okay.
And then at 12, I started guitar.
So
those are my two.
Those are your two instruments.
Yeah.
And those are keyboards, right?
Yeah, keyboard, but it sounds like piano.
Okay.
It sounds like
So how come you picked piano?
How come I picked piano? Because it's a big instrument and it's very visual. And these keyboards nowadays, they have all kinds of instruments. You can play strings and accordions and all kinds of instruments from this electronic keyboards. And if you have a real piano, that's beautiful too. But we went and picked this keyboard because it's nice. Guitar I like too, but keyboard is a fuller sound instrument.
So when I was about 10, 11 years old, I took piano lessons. I hated it. I hated practicing in the afternoon. And as a result, my parents wouldn't pay for piano lessons for me anymore because I wasn't practicing. How much practice does it take to be as good as you?
Well, I don't consider myself a concert pianist, but I'm a very good accompanist. That's why all these people like me, because they can sing. Even Rabbi Farber said to different people, with Benny, you don't need to rehearse. That's not true. But
it is true.
But no, it's not true. He thinks I know all the songs. It's not. It's not true. I'd like to do my homework. How long does it take to be good? If you have a passion for it, you'll practice. Maybe it wasn't your case because maybe your teacher didn't know how to motivate you. But I had a teacher who wanted me to read music, and I didn't like that. I wanted to play the piano. I didn't want to see any papers or notes or reading. But he taught me well. And then I wanted to know all the songs, and I wanted to be able to play in different keys. So I used to play a lot. Now I don't need to practice that much because I know most of the songs. But if it's a new song, they tell me, this week we're going to do this and that, I have to practice. So basically I only practice new stuff. The old stuff is already second nature.
So one last question, then I'm going to ask you to play something.
Yeah.
When you're not playing the Shema and Lecha Dodi and Micha Mocha, what are you playing at home? What do you love to play?
What I like to do is, I like the situation, to be in a situation like the piano bar situation where there is 10 people and they ask me for songs. Oh, play Sinatra, play this, play the Beatles, play it, and then I play what people.
So I'm going to pretend I'm at the bar.
Yeah.
Benny, you have to know Benny and the Jets. It has to be your theme song, right?
Not really,
No?
but
I picked the wrong song. How about Sinatra?
no, I mean I know the song, but I don't play that song.
Okay.
Um,
Would you say Santana? Marla requested Santana. Do you know
Santana?
Santana?
okay. Well, I can play a Santana song. That's a Santana song. But it doesn't, I mean, Santana music is not really synagogue music, so.
So how about some Sinatra?
Sinatra? Okay. Okay, so let's say. Climb into the moon.
So I'm going to work with Michael on song choices,
Right.
okay, to make sure he knows which songs to choose. He's very wrapped up in Billy Joel. Like,
Billy Joel, I can do Billy Joel.
There's something about having Benny play Sinatra while looking at you in the eyes.
One last remark. We just want to wish the Kabacks and the Weingart family an early Mazel Tov on the bar mitzvah of Spencer. Shabbat Shalom, and please be safe.
Shabbat shalom.
Well, you may think Santana music isn't for shuls, but I guarantee Adon Olam fits to one of them. There's no doubt. Adon Olam fits. Two more things, and that is, first of all, I did a wedding in New York, and the theme song of the bride and groom was "I Can't Help Falling in Love with You," Elvis Presley. And I was saying, so I decided I was going to do the brachot to that melody, right? And I was thinking, I need Benny. If Benny was here, I would say, okay, I'm doing I Can't Help Falling, and then that he'd start, and we'd be perfect.
But there was a matovu to I Can't Help Matovu.
Right, and I was the Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. See, just like that, right? You don't think I pick a key. I don't pick a key. I start singing, and he finds the key. Okay, and the other thing is that originally my first pulpit was in Kendall, and the eldest and the middle, son and daughter, were having a bar and bat mitzvah because she's 12, he's 13, so it works out. And it was Kendall, and what I needed was Latin, Israeli, and English music, American music. And in those days, this is a while back, that's Dahlia at 12 years old. He was the only one. We found him, he and the band, and they came in. They did Latin, Israeli, and rock and roll, 60s and American. And
25 years ago.
25, a little bit longer. Yeah. But close, very close, yeah. And you were it. I mean, nobody else was doing that in Miami at the time. And after that, it just took off. And that was what every bar and bat mitzvah wedding needed, was Latin, Israeli, and American. And Benny brought that out to Kendall. Was that your first time ever in Kendall?
No.
Yeah.
I've been in Kendall before.
Yeah, even before that you were in
Before,
Kendall?
yeah.
Right.
Temple Samuel.
That's it. It was Temple Samuel and 152nd Avenue, Jennensveld. Okay, so thank you all. That was wonderful. Let's conclude with Adon Olam. Pick one.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lehed nasa b'chefsa kol hazay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei tiklot hakol levado yimloch olam ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh b'tifara ve'hu echad ve'en sheni ve'hamshilo יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם שלום. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם שלום.
Shalom Aleinu.
שלום עלינו ועל כל העם.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.